never set foot inside a hole. No matter what, save my
E23, Rain, talk to me. We're gonna hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody
Oh,
don't know what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it
Why,
stop.
Rain?
It's
Why?
time to stop.
Why did you do this?
Stop.
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Floods of like memes, and these small gangers are like, "We're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever." It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did, and it's like, yeah.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Delve, and people tell me, "Oh, look, there's a super died in Delve." So it's like when
What
I'm
are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue.
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why
look,
does
look, look,
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delph?
up! Shut up!
Christ.
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it is
analogy.
Trash Talk Tuesday.
I was like,
Hello, and welcome, everybody, to Trash Talk Tuesday. This is the third best talk show that you can watch about EVE Online that broadcasts on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I see that an entire 28 of you or so have paid attention to the fact that Daylight Savings Time exists, and the show is now broadcasting at 0200 instead of 0100. That's a little bit later, but it's the same time for me, so I mean, it's all good. So tonight we've got a pretty packed show, I guess. We're joined by some legendary ship posters, myself included, and we're gonna introduce them here in a second. But first, I'm gonna put something out there that I want to make sure that everybody sees and hears and knows to be factually true. This is an at CCP Games moment. I am calling you out at CCP Games because we've been doing this show for 8 months, right? A little bit longer than that. And every couple of weeks we say, "Hey CCP, you want to come on the show? You want to talk about the things that you're doing?" And we promise to be nice, right? We promise to be nice. We are literally a group of people on this show that actually play the video game that you make. We pay you subscription fees. We do the things that you give us to do. And we make a show and we talk about it, right? We come on the show and yeah, my volume was low. Now it's different. So we come on the show and we talk about what's actually happening in the game that we play. And instead of coming on a show with people that actually play the video game, you go on shows with people who haven't logged in and done anything in a serious manner in months, maybe years. So this is an invitation. We will be nice to you. We'll keep it family friendly so that you can keep up your appearances, but we want to talk to you. We want to have you on the show, and we will appreciate it if you decide to show up. My DMs are open. I'm in all the terrible Discord servers, and I look forward to speaking with you. Okay, that was my invitation. So now let's introduce everybody that's here. Everybody from the top down, go ahead and say hello, state your name for the court, and tell us about a little bit of what you do and why you're in this channel. We'll start with Persistence.
Hi everyone, my name is Persistence. I'm an alcoholic.
And you're banned. All right, Riker.
Damn, that was okay.
Take
hey guys.
notes.
Anyway, I'm Riker. I'm a member of King Cordiate. I don't really do much in EVE except press F1 and fly around in a saber. I do a thing every two weeks on this channel at 2100 E or at 100 EVE time, and I don't believe in daylight savings. So yeah.
That's gonna turn out poorly. All right, next up, We have the ever wonderful Rich Richmond.
I'm Rich Richmond. I do small gang PvP, and at this current hour, with daylight savings times, you are slaughtering my mental capacity.
And we appreciate it. All right, we're also joined by the winner of the Abyssal Tournament, Cable Uda.
Hello, my name's Cable. I'm super high, and I'm a fucking cheater, apparently.
Apparently. And we're going to talk about that because that's some pretty serious beef right there. And then, of course, we've got the always lovely Loki Choco Chips.
Always lovely, dude. I am the CEO of Banana Republic, which is a new corp in Dreadbomb, of which I am also an FC. And I'm a host on the show.
Yeah. And then we have Sager.
I'm Sager. I hate people. I'm part of Habit, which is inside of PO, and that's about it.
And then also Sybil is here. Say hello.
What's up? I'm Sybil. I do sneaky wormhole things, and I don't know why I'm here. I'm just here.
You're bored on a Tuesday, just like everybody else. That's why we're all here. We're bored on Tuesday. We got nothing better to do. That's why you watch the show. Let's be honest. It's not for the content. It's certainly not for my White Claw-induced rage at CCP for not coming on the show, which is what
Hey,
you
some
got
of us
there.
are tired.
Oh, Cable, you're tired. We've been arguing for the last hour, and you're gonna say now that you're tired once we're live on Twitch.tv? Come on.
People, that is 100% true. They have been arguing the last hour, which is why I had to leave for like 30 minutes.
And it was a good argument too. Now I'm hoping we can replicate it live on stream so that people can actually hear it. So, Cable, let's start at the beginning because I know the topics were for tonight's show were the ESS changes, which we now have a DEVBLOG for. Also, some more on the bounty system to get everybody's thoughts on that because I don't think we really talked about it much last week. And then also World War B 2. So, Cable, you started off our conversation with saying that you don't think that this is gonna go any different than World War B, the original, the prequel to this one. You want to reiterate your points on that, and we can kind of pick up right there?
Sure. I mean, I think that what we're seeing that the Imperium is doing is essentially a complete replica of what they did previously, and in the former World War B. And I personally don't think that, as you kind of agreed that on what's it called earlier, was that Pappy isn't going to stay there forever. And as soon as they leave with enough force that Imperium could potentially take back the space, they most likely will. Or they'll move somewhere else, and essentially Pappy would have to follow them around like a toddler
Which
everywhere
is the
they
plan.
go if they would actually want to hold them down. But that's just not really realistic, is it?
I mean, it is in a sense. Like, they could be followed wherever they go. They could have been followed last time, but because they weren't, that's why they were able to rebuild and grow and, do all the things that they did. I'm being told in chat something happened with AOM. What's happening with AOM? Did they leave Legacy or something?
And AOM decided to pull out of the war.
They weren't even in the war.
So they made some minor impact, but
no, they didn't. They've been defending.
They were just fucking crabbing, dude.
They've been defending test space. Are they gonna stop doing that now, or what?
You got me there. They could move back to Omist, far, far away from test space, but that might be closer towards the long arms for fraternity, which they wish to avoid.
Also, who says AOM is leaving? But anyway,
I don't know. Somebody in chat says AOM's leaving Pappy, and so what's going to happen with the homelands being vulnerable? I mean,
sourced.
Yeah, is there a source on that? I know it was on the meta show, but I haven't seen anything like, actually real about it. So I mean, I don't trust the meta show as far as I can throw it, and since it's an inanimate object, I can't really throw it very far.
I can actually jump in a little bit here. So what we've been seeing a lot in Esoteria is that a lot of the iHubs have been getting hit. However, so far it's really only been localized to a few outlying systems in the northern part the northern part of Esoteria, the part right next to Stain. A lot of those iHubs have been getting hit, but so far it's really been more localized. If you've been watching Dotland, yes, they've been losing iHubs, but it's only in like 2 constellations, and they're going back and forth, and that's been happening for about I want to say a month now.
Well, it's been happening the whole time, but it's something where we're also seeing that Delve has lost 2 constellations in the same amount of days. We're 4 constellations deep into Delve right now. I wish Billy was unmuted so I could ask him how he feels about that, because I wanted to reference an Asher ping that I saw the other day where Asher is apparently looking forward to us being under his capital umbrella, which is also something that we were talking about, Cable. Also, remember, you can't talk about how much I hate nullsec. Fuck, I just said it out loud. Oh, yikes. Okay. So we also were talking about how you don't think that there's going to be, that there's no possible way that we see 1,000 supers or titans killed in this war. Correct?
Yeah, I don't think that the Imperium is gonna. I mean, for their sake, I don't hope that they're dumb enough to take a fight where they're always going to be outnumbered significantly. So I don't think they will. I don't think they'll be smart enough to just say, you know what, fuck it. Unless they have some wild, well, essentially in principle, yeah. So I just don't see a way, unless they have some wicked ass trick up their sleeve to give them an advantage, and a guaranteed advantage. I don't see a chance of them actually taking a real fight.
And what do you think that trick
That's
could
not to
be?
say that they're weak or anything. It's just, I don't know. I mean, from what I recall, there was talks about some plan to do a whole what's it called, like a boson trap with against a ton of supers, where they were gonna, I think it was 8 or 9 fucking titans were gonna boson simultaneously to wipe out 200 supers. That could be that could be a thing, but at the same time, that supers and you can't really compare supers to titans in a massive scale fight like that. Titans are king, and are the only thing that really matters. So they'd have to do a similar thing with where it was say 100, 200 titans get destroyed in one go, which is mildly saying completely unrealistic.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, because now I don't think that we're gonna see a huge Titan fight. Honestly, I really just don't think we're gonna see it. But
yeah, it's
we
very
might.
unlikely. I mean, you never know. Someone might fuck up, and then things might escalate. But I don't see it happening as a planned fight ever.
You have me recorded on this show as saying that I didn't believe that the goons were going to use supers in any capacity at all, and that they were going to just deploy their Fabian strategy bullshit. The one reason they kind of have to is that they kind of didn't plan to leave. They have no way out, or they didn't at least. And I don't know. The fact that they've used it this many times is actually extremely surprising to me.
One thing we've also seen is that they're extremely conservative about their caps too. The last fight that actually happened yesterday, the goons, when we were trying to reinforce a Sotio past it into its final timer, goons had dropped carriers and faxes to try to kill off all of our stuff. Our response to that was we waited, we baited them out, we let them drop their fighters. The minute we dropped their fighters, we hit them with all of our titans and just started DDing them off the field. Granted, a lot of them did get out by just instantly jumping to another system, but they lost quite a few carriers. So we were on their citadels with our titans. I mean, okay, technically it wasn't a keep start, but we were on their citadels.
It's hard to be on their keep stars when they keep on anchoring them, though.
That is fair.
And that's
they are.
Yeah, they are.
Lol.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. You were saying that the coalition isn't showing signs of weakness, but
But
that's
it
all
isn't
that it's been
necessarily.
doing.
I just don't see that as a sign of weakness per se, because
Well, I
that's a
mean,
question of
think
that's a
about it,
that's
right?
no,
So,
but like, don't get me wrong, it's a sign of weakness in the sense that yes, it shows that they pretty much know that they can't really fight. But outside of that, it's the only right move, really. I mean, they want to deny you those kill mails, and they want
and
to
you can
deny
say that,
you that
you
value,
you
and so
can
on.
say that,
And
but the thing is that they can't go from screeching about how they're the strongest force in the
of
galaxy.
course they can.
Well,
They
no, they can't,
can.
because
They
that's not how
can.
things
They
work.
are.
I
They
mean, they
are.
are. They are doing that, so obviously they can, but it's not an appropriate thing in my mind. And that's just I
Well,
don't understand how people can, believe everything that they see or how anybody can
because
actually see this war going any differently than it's
it's a
going already.
it's a simple question of controlling the narrative within a cult.
So you
Because
think
if
goons are a cult?
to an extent, yeah, definitely.
That's fucking scary. Where's the Kool-Aid
Yeah,
at?
agree
I
with
can see it.
Yikes.
What did you say, Sybil?
I can kind of see how the correlation is akin to being culty.
I'm not saying it's a fucking cult where eventually they're all gonna fucking go and commit suicide or some crazy shit. I'm just
no,
saying that
it's
it's a cult like mentality within the group.
Yes, it's a very definition of a cult-like mentality. You have a, I mean, let's start off. You have a single charming, charismatic leader, the
Uh,
dictator. You have,
charming?
and then, well, in his own, well, to
In
his
his
own
own way. In his
citizens,
own way.
in his own way, and to his own citizens, he has his own charm. And the language he uses not only dehumanizes those who oppose him, but also radicalizes those closer to him. And he's got a few select companions by his side, and he controls this narrative and what people believe in because of his own slick spin of propaganda and internalized media channels. And if there's something that isn't exactly suiting to his message, he'll revise the history to suit them and to encourage his own members to, how do I say, spout the same message as well. Any other opinion, they can just quickly censor they can eliminate the dissent.
So Dunk in the chat, who I wish would just come on the show all the time, says that we're approaching phase 2, failure of rationalization. What does that mean? I have not heard about these phases except for the phases that supposedly Pappy was going to go through as they tried and were unsuccessful in sieging Fortress Delve. So this is a new one to me. Have you guys heard about that before?
Failure of
Oh,
rationalization. I
is this
think
from
he's.
the
it's from the failure
Tawny
cascade.
post? Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, well,
That was
Yeah.
rich for a little bit, huh? All right, let's see. So phase what? Phase 2, failure of rationalization. So just to get a bullet point. So
I'd say it's.
Good. I'm sorry.
I'd say you can actually stave off fail skating if you if you can control the narrative enough. But, I mean, it's not failure if nobody believes it's failure.
I mean, everybody believes it's failure except for the people who
Mm,
are failing.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you eliminate any possibility of any kind of enemy being seen as respected or equals, you dehumanize them, you call them all sorts of things. Incels, virgins, pubbies, anything to, attack them instead of legitimizing their criticism, then that's, one way you can eliminate the enemy from being able to affect you. And at the same time, by doing this, you harden your own people's minds against whatever attacks they can do, because they all say, oh, it's just some virgin saying this to me, some puppy. They can try and disregard it in that way. It's in fact, I've seen this is tactics used by cults. This is like Scientology tier tactics. I dare say this is stuff I've seen before. From when I've dealt with groups like this.
So
And the funny thing is,
how
yeah,
have you dealt with groups like this before? Like, as far as I'm aware, goons are a pretty unique group of people.
Oh, well, they're a unique group of people, but the tactics used to radicalize their members, and in fact, I dare say some of the more newer members of the Imperium are a lot more radical to these ideas and the dogmatic rhetoric. I'd say they're far more indoctrinated and radicalized compared to the older members. The older members, probably, I'm fairly sure the older members, well, know their place in the fact that they're long-time members, and they know the fact that it's all spin, and they know what the truth is. But the newer members, they're fully radicalized to this. And how I've dealt with this before is because, well, this is a type of stuff that weird niche groups on the internet use to, I guess, build up an inner circle of members. This is nothing common. Sorry, this is nothing uncommon. This isn't rare. And I'd like to comment more, but this is goes into dangerous political territory, and I'm going to go ahead and skip that. But yes,
Speaking
I've
of
seen
politics, have you guys seen the CNN thing where they're calling which states are which? I
this.
made a drinking
Absolutely
game of it.
not.
I'm like
Oh,
3
no.
beers in. Are you guys ready
Absolutely
for
not,
this?
Rain.
I have the link. You guys
Absolutely.
want me to share it?
No,
No.
no,
Please,
Rain.
no.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
When,
CIA started doing a stream.
I'm drinking Kool-Aid tonight, so...
Well, as per usual, I, Rich Richmond, will be staying completely sober throughout all of this for everybody's sanity. There will
Not for
be
your own
no political
sanity,
discussions
dude.
here. But
Alright.
well, I did spend some time reading on some of the ways that like religious groups, cult groups, these groups indoctrinate and keep members within. And you know, this is the stuff I've seen before. This is what Scientology uses to stop people from to make people even, how do I say, excommunicate their own families.
You know who beat Scientology,
It's obviously
though?
toned down.
Tom Cruise!
No,
Tom
no,
Cruise
he
is
didn't.
a Scientologist. But
He's a-
4chan beat him, so you should take some notes from 4chan on how to beat Scientology.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why do you think I shitpost so hard against these no-sec coalitions and these cultist groups?
I don't think that you do. I think that you try to, but I think that most of your shitposting falls flat.
Oh, well, I'm a little insulted by that, Redline. I think I'm
shouldn't.
gonna have to kill your Myrmidon a few more times.
My Myrmidon? You've never killed one of my Myrmidons.
We'll see, we'll see. I suggest you keep that vendetta docked.
You're not supposed to tell people that I have a vendetta now, Rich. How are you just gonna bust me out like that?
Sorry,
It
Nix.
was a
Nix, you
secret.
couldn't
It was
afford-
a surprise.
It's a Nix. It's a Nix. He can't
afford.
afford a vendetta. He can't afford a vendetta. It's a Nix.
Rich, how the fuck are you gonna kill his super?
I actually can't comment on that because that is a patented Fwagon secret. Thank you very much.
Oh, they have dread caches like every other group ever in Eve? Oh, what a shock, dude.
I mean, have you not looked at our corp histories?
Our corp history is so great.
Yes,
Have you not
yes,
looked at
you
my
know-
alliance history? We'll shred your dreadnoughts, bro. We're a nullsec block.
Hey,
Go
hey,
fuck yourself, kid.
Oh,
You're dead.
listen,
You're
listen.
a dead man, brother.
In-game.
Fucking dead boy. Oof.
You think we're just a
In-game.
simple small gang group? You looked at our corp history. We're your FCs. We're your fellow line members. We were your
Jesus Christ.
spies. We were your production experts. We were with you
are
guys
about as
in your
useful
corps
as
and
a
alliances.
pineapple on a piece of pizza.
What I'm hearing.
That's
I'm
right. That's
Stop.
right. I made a stand.
Oh, you're gonna make a
Pineapple
stand?
does
Okay, how about I
not
challenge you
belong
on
on
this
pizza.
red line?
What? I
Red
already
line. How
beat
about
you
I
in
challenge?
honorable combat
No,
and then let
no.
you win
No,
live
you
on
can't.
TV. What do
Are
you
you
mean
kidding?
I can't?
What
I
happened the
whooped
last
your
time we
ass,
fought
kiddo.
1v1?
I
What happened
whooped
when
your
we
ass.
had a fist fight? 1v1. I whooped your
A
ass
fist
2-1.
Fist
2
fight?
to
What
1.
do you mean?
I didn't know ships had fisties.
Yeah, Kestrels in the Singularities air server.
Yeah,
Brawling
fight
range.
TQ.
I kicked
Fighting
your
my
ass. I
officer
kicked your
shit
ass twice.
vendetta.
You're gone.
Okay, well, I've beat you 3 times in PvP, so who's the real winner?
You're
'Cause
both pretty.
I swept you in a best 2 out of 3.
Are you
swept
kidding?
You. You were there. Everybody was there.
Hey,
You're
hey,
both
hey! Those
pretty.
were just scrimming. I was going easy on you. I was pulling my punches. When the time came, I fucking slaughtered your ass.
Look, my dick is bigger than your dick, and my dad's dick
Damn
is
right.
bigger than your dick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. First off, you're both pretty. Rich, I hate to be that guy to tell you, but a lot of nullsec pilots will make these things called alts, and we'll put them in places that make us money. A bunch of nullsecers putting alts in your corp so that they can make money in wormhole space, that kind of makes sense.
No,
but I guarantee you, they're not going to drop again.
No. We're not talking about wormhole space. We're talking about my corp. Anyway, speaking of nullsec money, what do you think of the new ESS changes and the new dynamic bounty changes?
Why are you trying to change the subject from me whooping your fucking ass?
Because I believe it's settled on live stream. There's proof. I kicked your ass 3 times.
Where's the clip? There's no clip. You're a bitch.
Oh, it's because you deleted it. You deleted the older streams.
I didn't delete it.
Yes,
I
you
don't
fucking
delete
did.
Anything. I'm not a deleter.
Then why don't the older streams exist?
You can't post links on the thing.
What?
In the Twitch chat, you can't post links.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, what?
I think it's fixed. Guys, post links in the chat.
Post safe for work links.
Post.
RedTube incoming.
Please don't post RedTube. Thanks in advance.
Cable, I love how you posted the whole can't wait from. I love it. You're the greatest.
Redline, did you forget that we absolutely took nearly all of the former Waffles USTZ over some bullshit argument over a Kiki
Oh my god, Waffles.
Drop in a bucket.
Drops in the bucket. Drops in the bucket.
Like,
oh my god.
Bucket.
Do you have the most notorious Waffles player?
Who?
Reza.
I'm sorry, not Grath Telkin, sorry.
Or Apophany.
Who?
Reza.
Who?
See, you don't know
Literally
anything
who?
from Waffles.
What the people the people who just the people who got the fucking the people who got it fucking got them out of their own hole. Yeah, okay. Who? Oh man, I'm turning into a fucking owl.
So as a former Waffles member, I can 100% tell you that the people that like are dedicated and are the best that Waffles have to offer are probably still there because they're the directorate.
Have you ever, Rich? How the fuck do you not know who Apophany is? First of all,
I like to let you know that
I
beat Waffles in the AT with a undermanned tinker setup.
I mean,
if you watch AT, you're gonna see that dude fucking.
Look, if you quit at this point, you're damned to dust.
I like the finish the bottle and slip into a coma if Trump wins. That's what that says, right? I can't see it.
Dude, you should do that either way. Like
There's
either
a lot of
way,
comas incoming. Then.
Like just go right into a coma.
Okay, we're not talking about politics.
Anyway, whatever.
This is an EVE
Jesus
Online
Christ.
stream. It's not a political stream. We're not talking about.
You really let yourself go every time you drink alcohol. This is why you do not get drunk and high. Whether you host a talk show, whether you do diplomatic actions, whether you're an FC, you stay sober.
It works for Joe Rogan, my friend.
Half of a
It
White
works for
Claw.
Joe Rogan.
I am not drunk.
Not a drop of alcohol, my friend.
Okay, congratulations, Virgin.
Rain,
look at this language he's using. He's a fucking cultist.
Rich, you only talk mad shit because last time you got drunk, you sent a girl a dick pic. Like, okay,
I did not. I did not send a girl a dick pic. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Do you swear that you never sent a girl a dick pic?
I swear that I have never taken a dick pic ever.
Okay, it was a clit pic. Whatever.
All right. So
Jesus Christ, Rain! What kind of accusation is that?
Let's talk about these EVE Online changes, huh? So we've got the ESS DEVBLOG was released last week, conveniently after this show broadcasted live on Twitch.tv, because we don't want to get the first hit on the news because we'll make it sound bad. Because guess what? The ESS changes are bad. They're terrible, and everybody knows it. Let's talk about that. Does anyone disagree with me that these these ESS changes are dicks in a bag?
From a design perspective, I just wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Design or mechanically?
Absolutely not. I think these changes are good.
Stop. Cable's Euro. I want to hear what he says. What?
Design-wise or mechanically?
So too. Sorry, I got a simp, dude.
Yikes. Do you mean mechanically or like design-wise?
Design-wise and what they're meant to do. Like the idea behind them and why they were put in place makes sense. Their execution and what it's going to do to the game.
Except that when they were first introduced into the game, they were introduced to the game to create conflict, and 10 years later, they still have not created more conflict. Nobody uses them. All it does is create drama, which is the only thing that I will say that I agree with that I heard on the Meta Show. That is all they do. They don't create anything for content.
Drama
They
is
don't do
good in
anything
this
for
game.
anybody. Not when it's between people that you are like on the same team with. Okay, look. Okay, I guess this isn't why. This is why CCP won't come on here. I guess it's true. Also, is this a real thing? Northern Coalition opens their Mumble server.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Honey,
you know
Honey
that-
posted it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I wonder how many people are in Mumble right now.
Don't
I have
do
to
it.
check.
So basically, what usually happens is that whenever NC guys will run fleets, they'll open their Mumble server to people.
It's literally it's literally just fucking NC members. There's nobody else in here. There's nobody from a different group in here except there's three
Should I-
snuff guys.
Should I go find the violin?
I think
Is
when
that
he
it?
said,
Is that everything?
Sorry to cut you off, Gabe.
Should I go find the violin?
The violin for what? What are you talking about?
That's sad,
He's
man.
gonna get you the smallest pianist.
Penis?
I mean, I already have the smallest pianist on my show. His name's Rich Richmond.
Oh, is that so?
Hashtag tiny dick burn.
I mean, you've had me on camera. You've seen my hands. Do those look like small hands?
Holy
Did you
shit!
really just? Did you
that's
just
so
unironically say people with big hands have big dicks?
This is wildly inappropriate conversation.
Who cares? It's Trash Talk Tuesday.
No, I'm just trying to be the voice
This
of
show
reason
has
for
gone
a
from
change.
being a bastion of hope and light and an unbiased world of news to being an unadulterated shit show of people
Jaded.
who just talk. And I'm
Ladies
fine
and
with
gentlemen,
it.
guys, I warned everybody. Don't touch a drop of alcohol.
Dude,
Don't do it.
This has nothing to do with me
Stop
drinking
warning
White
people
Claw.
not to do that. dude.
This has nothing
We're
to
in
do
a
with me
pandemic.
drinking
Fuck you.
a half a can of White Claw. Volvin, stop it. Don't
Oh,
even
my-
start with me, brother.
He literally
What
just
in the fuck are you talking about? I'm just saying I'm sorry that I was really fucking late. We ran into a problem with goons, and
kind of problem with
somehow
goons
my
did you run
battleship
into?
made it out of a 50.
Did they
See,
actually
he's
fight?
leading fleets. You're not leading fleets. Where's your 3 fleets
I
a
led a
week?
fleet the
Me?
other night, you
No, I'm-
retarded moron. I saved 2 iHubs single-handed. Well,
Two
not
iHubs.
single-handedly.
2 iHubs. Okay. And do you know what Pro God Legend says about iHubs? They don't fucking matter. If they're in a system without a keep star, they don't matter. And even if they are in a system with a keep star, it doesn't matter.
Rich,
They actually
system.
first off, do actually matter.
They barely matter.
They
That's not
actually
my
do.
words. That's words of Pro God Legend.
Well, Pro God is easy.
Should we get Pro God on here?
You can get Pro God on there.
Can we get Progon on the show so he can confirm for
Can't-
us that the
can't-
iHubs don't matter? Because Rich is right. I mean, Rich is right. I'm gonna give him that. He's right. They don't matter because at the end of the day, when we're ready to kill the keep stars, we're gonna kill the keep stars whether we hold the iHub or not.
Yeah.
No, they do matter because it's going to stop goons from anchoring
really
their
don't.
spammers and all their shit.
Sir, as a person in several of the most elite back channels that a fleet commander can be in. For instance, I am in the super double secure back channel. So that's not just single secure, it's double secure.
Redline, you literally told me that
Wow.
you had to suck so much D to get into those channels.
Can you not, like, look, when we have conversations in private, you're not supposed to just bust them out in the open, dude. Like,
in private, it was here.
It wasn't here? Where was it?
It was on Trash Talk Tuesday. On this,
fuck? How
What
much
was
have
it?
I drank?
a lot, obvious.
No, I'm just preparing for the inevitable downfall of my existence. It's okay. It's fine. Anyways.
I have a
so,
Pro God quote. I said, "Hey, Rich Richmond's quoting you about iHubs. Do you want to come talk about it?" He says, "LOL, fuck that guy."
Oh my god. Oh, that's fine.
I don't think he wants to come.
Of course not. Of
Pro
course he
God, you
can't.
just lost 3 whole Myrmidons, brother.
Heard he had a little dick, TM.
You know what, Raid? I'm not surprised he can't come. He's a little busy in the war in Delve. Curious.
Rain, you want to ask him that?
Is there a fleet going on right now?
I think he's run less
Probably.
fleets than Redline
I
this
don't
week.
know. I don't know. He's high command. He's there for the fights when they can't handle things.
Look,
When the low
an
levels can't
FC
handle things.
is not just about the fleets that he runs. It's about
like
what that FC brings to the table outside of fleets. Now, I may not run 3 fleets a week, but I bring comic relief to the table every time I join one. I say, "Hello, what can I do?" And they say, "Log out, dude." And I say, "All right, I'll just tell jokes and take portions of your fleet to kill anomalies in systems where we have strategic objectives."
Is that so, Redline? I think I could do your job better. I think you're kind of outclassed in your main role here.
Bots
As an entertainer?
Yes.
You think you outclass me as an entertainer? I'm sorry, Rich. Did you make the 3rd most popular Twitch.tv talk show about EVE Online that broadcasts at Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time?
He did not. That's not something that
You
he
did
did.
not. You didn't do that, which means I automatically win because this is the best show on EVE. This is the best EVE talk show in the history of EVE talk shows. Everybody watching
Here's the
knows
thing.
this.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Is it the
There's the
best or is it the least worst?
That's a really valid point, actually. I think we might be in the least worst category. Do you guys want to hear what they're saying about the election and the NC Mumble? I'm really curious.
Absolutely not.
I would love to.
Oh, no.
I do want to kind of hear.
Oh yeah, I'm
He's-
probably gonna get TOS to shit, huh?
Oh yeah.
They're probably talking about a particular person's love of the, the rich
They're
man.
probably talking about a whole lot of things that we probably shouldn't stream.
Yeah, so let's just go back to the ESS changes. So these ESS changes, now the numbers are on Singularity and they're pretty shocking. And it's that 50% of the bounty that is earned from ratting in a nullsec system is going into an ESS that is only accessible by way of stealing from it, right? Or you get paid out from it automatically every 3 hours. So the goal here is to create more conflict. Scarcity breeds something or other that has to do with aggression and anger and violence. But I don't see that happening with this. Does anybody have a good disagreement to that they'd like to present to the group? Because I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear one.
I mean, if you get told that X amount of supers have been crabbing in this system for the last 3 hours, and you have a chance to go steal like 50% of their, let's say, 100 million per person every 20 minutes. So that's 300 million per person. Let's say there's 4 of them. That's 1.2 billion an hour. And let's 3 hours. That would be 3.6 billion. Half of that would be 1.8 billion to steal, effectively.
But it's not because it's only like a quarter of that because there's 2 banks, and the
Yeah, but
other
you could
bank is
steal
what
both.
has all the juicy shit. But
You can still
can't
steal both.
You can
You can
barely
steal
steal
both.
one.
You can still
No, you can. You can steal both eventually once they have those keys released in
game,
some
yeah.
capacity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
so the keys
it's
that no
essentially
one
you
knows
could
what
steal
they
both.
are.
But I mean, it's still there's at least an incentive. Like the idea of creating conflict in form of you have to protect that ESS until you get your payout and then you can fuck off. Then in that sense, yeah, sure, the essence of it is fine for conflict creation, but the mechanical side of it is hot pile of garbage. Like the sheer execution of the way that they're trying to achieve it is completely horrific.
So elaborate on that. How are they
So-
trying to achieve it in your mind, and how is it horrific?
So they've introduced a select amount of rules in this whole ESS. So first of all, it's a gated what's it called location,
Anomaly.
which means that it's a gated dead site or whatever essentially. And therefore they've eliminated the ability to go in with frigates, which is good. I'd see that as fair at least. I don't know if destroyers also can't get in, but I can't remember that.
If
Whatever.
so.
And therefore they remove frigates, which are the faster ships that would always be the case for stealing those kind of things, because it would be swift and whatever. But they've eliminated that, and then they've eliminated certain other things that when you get into the room, you will have a 75-kilometer sphere where everyone is infinity pointed, so you can't leave. You cannot MJD. You cannot MWD. And yeah, you're essentially stuck there until you burn out with an afterburner. The problem with that is, one, no MWDs means that you're going to be afterburner locked, and therefore you're going to see essentially Sancha ships, so Phantasms and Nightmares as a mainline ship. The second problem is that mechanically there's a problem in what's it called? You can drop MJUs, so mobile micro jump units, and that can be abused in several ways. One of the ways is that defenders in this scenario, anyone who's crabbing in the system who'd like to ensure that they don't lose the money, could park ships, for instance, rail nagas or artillery tornadoes or whatever, at like say 200 kilometers. So you can simply pre-stage them in the site, 200 kilometers from the entrance, where everyone will land in the bubble, and say they have 4 nagas at like say 200 kilometers from the center in any random direction. Anyone coming in will have to survive, 2,000 DPS of fucking nagas in their face for the entire duration, which is at best unfeasible. Secondly, it means that if they go in, they can't go out again because they have to afterburn out of the fucking site by like at least 50 kilometers because of the bubble you land in from the start, while they can't MJD and they can't warp for that whole duration. So they have to survive for at least like minute and a half while they try to burn out of this thing so they can leave. So it just provides the crabs and the defenders in this scenario a massive advantage over any group who wants to try and contest them for that money. So I think it's just going to be another case of n+1 equals they always win. Yeah, essentially.
Which is something that you are very vocally against.
Yes.
Like you were talking in the cesspool earlier about how everything in the game is pretty much n+1 at this point, and it makes it pretty much pointless to try to do anything kind of outside of the box because you're just gonna get fucked up by more dudes, essentially.
Pretty
right?
much.
Yeah.
Essentially,
So
it's a case of the last 6 years have been to an extent dumbing down of the game and eliminating the ability for players to have an impact on each other.
now, do you think that's necessarily a bad thing? I mean, it's limiting the effect that players can have on each other, I would say, is an absolute bad thing, right? But I don't think that we're seeing a dumbing down on the scale that maybe I'm assuming you mean when you say it. Because even though things have gotten easier in Eve, I mean, certainly things are easier than they were, just over 2 years ago when I started playing, because, I don't think I've gotten any better at the game, but I certainly have an easier time playing it now. But do you think that kind of alienating the veteran player base, the player base that is used to the things that we're having, do you think that that is worth it to bring in new people to the game?
Well, I mean, that's essentially what we got. I mean, over the last like 6 to 8 years, we've seen a complete shift in the guard of who plays EVE Online, which is to CCP's how to say success, at least to say that it's made the game more profitable for the company. And I just think that CCP has changed the game to a point where the player who plays the game is not the same player who used to play the game.
But do you think it's worth it though? Like, do you think that
Well, it depends on
having
your definition of success.
I believe not only is it bad, but it could definitely decrease the population of veteran players and maybe overall EVE players
It has
overall,
decreased the population of veteran players significantly.
which is probably going to decrease more, is what I'm saying, because of it.
Because of
Actually,
ESS changes?
No, the general direction of the game.
I see.
No, I actually have.
So in your mind, just the game is going in a direction that is catering more towards the easy and less towards the impactful.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is what you mean?
A what?
Away from complex.
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Because I completely lost what you said.
Unfortunately, no. I can't. I physically cannot say it again because I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know it made sense. I have it in good faith that what I said made perfect sense.
Sense to someone.
I like what Garav EVE Online says. He says that maybe the game has evolved and the vets can't adapt to it, so they choose to leave the game or be bitter about it. What do you think about that statement?
Well,
I agree with it.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I would strongly disagree with that because I mean, if that was the case, then why is it that it's all the new players in the game who are fucking crying like babies about me supposedly cheating in the tournament that I won?
The tournament that you won.
The other thing too, and I don't think a lot of people realize this from a business perspective, it's 1,000 times easier to keep a veteran in the game than it is to recruit a new player to the game. And that's true not only for EVE Online, but for like majority of all products.
For any type of any.
Because the veteran
It's
players can
easier
tell
to
you
keep
old
a
stories
returning
and stuff.
customer than it is to get a new customer.
Yeah.
So it's worth the investment for CCP to put in towards keeping old players in versus trying to get new players. Now, I'm not saying new players are worthless or the opposite, old players are worthless. But if you're thinking in the grand scheme of how to maintain a product, you want to keep the old players.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the problem is that the CCP has to an extent. I'm not saying this is a factual thing, but at least from my own experience, is that a lot of old players are getting deterred from playing the game because of the changes to the game that we've seen over the last long period of time.
Yeah.
And they simply see that it's a completely different game. They don't actually like that they're no longer the prime audience of the game anymore.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And I think that's to an extent the problem. But again, it depends on how you define the success of the company. If you simply say it's a question of profitability from a business perspective, then fuck yeah, they're doing it right because last year was the most profitable the company has ever been. But if you're looking at it as a ability for the company to retain players who are deeply invested in the game, then it's definitely a loss, a failure at least.
Fresh blood to the game is important to any MMO, and
of course.
It's what keeps these games rejuvenating long term. And if they don't, if they're struggling to get fresh blood into this game, long term, it's not good.
I mean,
This is the thing,
no one's disagreeing with getting new blood being a good thing. Of course, that's a good thing. You always want to have more players enter the game. The thing is that like you're seeing an influx of players while also seeing a massive outflux of players, and I mean,
Define
like
massive,
no.
though.
I mean,
Well,
they're
okay.
hemorrhaging players over certain updates. Obviously, we know
well,
the
yeah.
most beloved Blackout update absolutely hemorrhaged about a whole bunch of players who were very upset at the changes. I'm not a.
Did it though?
From what
You don't fucking know.
From the levels I've seen, yes, it has hemorrhaged players. We're only starting to recover, but we're still not exactly at pre-blackout levels.
I mean,
what were blackout levels though? Like how many concurrent players? I mean, is that what we go by these days?
But
Or
is
is there
concurrent
some other
players
arbitrary
even
stat?
is the problem is with concurrent players is do we even know is that act like individuals or is that just accounts? Because if it's just account, then it's kind of bullshit because I can be sitting on with 15 fucking accounts on my own. and I know then people sit with 50 accounts on their own. So it's a very like untrue metric if you don't define it as actual human beings. You know what I mean?
Well, CCP has the data though, like they can.
Yeah, but we don't, so we
But
can't
do
make
they release
judgments
it? Is
on
the
it.
question?
No, they don't. No,
Fuck
they
no,
don't.
that's a terrible idea.
They've always kept that extremely close to their chest.
But I do believe it was
Salt in
Villy
chat.
who. It was Villy who mentioned that yes, there is a serious problem. CCP does have a serious problem with them hemorrhaging new players, and the fact that most new players do not stay.
That was
Yeah, I think
shared
the-
at a Vegas a couple years ago, last year. It was like 90% of new players quit within the first 7 days.
That was last year in Vegas.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe there is a way to keep new players in. It may not be a good way, but it is definitely a way.
Tell them to stop being little bitches.
What is it?
Stop being a bitch.
Yeah, stop being
No.
little bitches. Grow some.
No. That's
But
not
no,
it. Look,
Harden the fuck up,
they
man.
have to
Balls.
adapt, guys. Come on.
Say-
It's
say-
just like
okay,
it was said.
I
know
They
that-
just need to adapt. They just need to adapt.
no.
But
the
the
way
problem
you
is
get
this-
new players in. Go ahead.
The problem is this game is a goddamn Ponzi scheme. The best time to play Eve was 10 years ago, but now 10, 15 years ago. But now if you're starting now, you not only start behind, but you got to catch up in some way. And if you want to get anywhere close to some of the levels of the older players, you can't because T2 BPOs don't exist, and they've got all this infrastructure set up and all these things. They're old money. That to reach their levels is so much more difficult. And with the changes CCP have added in, if you want to start afresh, good luck. There's no minerals anymore, or the old guard hold all the minerals.
What do you mean no minerals?
That's bullshit.
High sec, low sec, areas of low sec that are claimed by rats have tons of them. They regen every day. There's tons of minerals out there.
Come to Banana Republic. We
Stop
will mine
recruiting,
Noxium together, my
fucker.
friends.
Yeah, stop. Fucking hell. You know what? Nobody wants to. Do people want to join your terrible corporation based in Providence? You know what happens in Providence?
Whoa. It's based in Lowsec, first of all, sir. I don't think you know anything about my quote-unquote terrible
You're in Dreadbomb.
Uh-huh. Dreadbomb is not in Providence.
You live in a wormhole.
They are not.
Not going to say
Well,
much.
I have caught Yoshi.
Hey, Sybil, we're not talking about you. We're talking about Rich. He
Yes,
lives in a wormhole by himself.
Uh-huh.
What? I don't live in a wormhole by myself. I live in a wormhole with a wonderful family there.
Name 7 other people who live there.
Wishing for Cable to come keep you warm at night, probably.
What? Okay, are you sure you want to do this, Rain? Are you sure? You want to back out, Rain? I'll give you this opportunity to back out, Rain, right now.
Name them. I'll wait.
Warming up, Atom Deathstroke,
Who?
Daniel
Who?
Sunkist,
Who?
Juno,
Wait, send me all the usernames and I will
Alexander Van
verify.
Star,
Who?
Kavegi, Propane.
Who?
They all sound
You're just
STDs.
naming random word propane.
Oh, okay.
Propane. Okay, yeah,
STDs.
someone named propane. Okay.
I
If you
saw
can get
propane
them
and
all.
propane accessories.
Propane accessories.
Speaking of
Rain, they're
propane,
all
I do.
bots
My
that
car
live with
actually
him.
runs off propane, so thank you very much. I do my part to protect the environment.
Oh my god.
That's
So Cable is
Oh my
here,
God.
and he is just now realizing that this show is 100% like, I don't
Shit
know.
show.
Yeah, it's a shit show kind of. I mean, we just come on and we talk shit. Like that's what we do. Like it's not something that we have a purpose for. I mean, we put out some topics there, and then we just we do our thing.
Have you ever heard Volta comms? By the way, I have. I don't think Cable's in danger of being shocked.
No.
Whose alt is Escal Zephyr?
That's extra
Wow.
squishy, bro.
That's a funny meme.
Oh, you're memeing. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
It's just a bolt.
That's not me.
It's
No, that's
it's a meme about me. So
Oh, is it really?
Cable, I have a
yeah,
question.
it is. What's up?
What is your profile picture based off of? At first, I thought it was something like supposed to be based off of, oh, hey, this is a stick figure of Dream. Now I'm like, what is it?
It says, "Come on, man, do something."
I am
Is it
blind,
okay?
chat.
It says, "Come on, do something." No, it's an NPC so too.
Jesus.
That's pretty good, actually.
Oh, good lord.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So we've had some recent changes to where some people claim that they've had their source of income turned off. Does anybody in the channel here has anybody experienced their source of income being turned off because of like a lack of ore in asteroid belts? Anybody?
Wow. It's almost
No,
as if
not
you
really.
might
Just a
be
lack of PvP as well.
almost as if you're asking me to elaborate on it. Wow.
I would never, direct a question directly at you until we have you on Crossing the Red Line, which is a show coming to the New Eden Post Twitch stream on Sundays. As soon
What I
as
will
cable
say
has
is,
time.
for some people, their income hasn't exactly turned off, but my income has certainly turned on.
Oh.
I'm pretty turned on by the income that I will be soon
So you
getting.
get a hard boner going there.
You know what? Every time I look at the loot hangar of my corporation, I get a frown because we've already moved it out and sold it.
No Nut November, so can we change the topic?
What? What? When did that conversation come in? Jesus.
Well, in No Nut November, nobody's coming in, huh?
Exactly. Everybody's
God,
getting me.
Volvin, that just went right over your head, didn't it?
He's underage, so let's get
Oh,
gloss over that topic.
Oh, well,
We
am I
are
sure
not
glad
allowed-
somebody... Am I sure glad Yoshi isn't here? Good God.
You might learn something new.
I'm sorry, this Twitch stream is for mature audiences only. I said nothing about mature cast members, though, so... Dick
Well,
jokes.
Yeah, no wonder. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
I'm turning 18 soon, so it's no worries, fellas.
Congratulations on your ability to smoke cigarettes in 3 years.
Some states make you smoke at 21. Sorry.
They make you.
Oh, they make you smoke at 21? Like, you're 21 years old, you get kidnapped in your house. Here, kid, have this cig.
No, they
Did you
shove
happen-
12 in your mouth.
Did you happen
Yeah,
to
they're like-
listen to the words that I said, or did you just think of a response as I was talking and then just say it like it was accurate?
Are you sober?
Because I said, have fun smoking cigarettes in 3 years, which means he'd
No.
be 21.
Are you sober?
Yeah, I'm
What
sober
do you
enough.
want a gold star line? Is that what you want for that clever pun joke?
Yeah. Ideally,
bad.
a gold star would be nice. You're all out of gold stars? Of course, that's typical. Typical of Sybil to be out of gold fucking stars.
All right, I haven't been able to
Did
get
you
any.
give-
All right.
Did
Are
you
you
give the
making,
last ones? Did you give the
macaroni and
last ones
cheese?
to CCP for their garbage changes to the video
Oh,
game Eve
fuck no.
Online?
They have -1 gold stars for me. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay, let's-
They are
so
in a
Cable,
fucking deep
talk to me
hole.
about your lack of income because you were telling me earlier that your income source has been turned off, and we were having a pretty good discussion about it that I wish we would have saved for this show because it would have been pretty good to have. But you were saying essentially that because there's no more ore in belts, there's no more NPCs that will mine the belts, and thus no reason for an NPC hauler to undock from a Sotio, an NPC Sotio, which is where you get your income from, selling faction capital BPCs, I believe is the correct acronym.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much your entire thing, is that now you can no longer do that. My argument was that that's just collateral damage for now, and that you should
And I
suck
never
it up.
disagreed with that.
Okay.
I agree that it's collateral damage. I just what I was trying to emphasize is that it's a showcase of the dev team that released the change, clearly not having the ability to foresee the outcomes of the changes they make. It just makes it seem like they're just randomly pulling a lever and hoping that has an outcome that they like, essentially.
So
And
I
that's the
disagree
pro-
with
the-
you on that, because they've clearly got a plan. They just refuse to tell us what it is.
Well, I mean,
That's-
if their plan is to intentionally, effectively, at least let's say temporarily, delete
Okay.
features from the game, that's a pretty dumbass plan.
I mean, they've done it before. Blackout for one, deleted local from a place that
But that
routinely had local.
no,
Did
but
you
that, but
enjoy
no, no, no,
Blackout?
no, 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 no. Well, that's not the same though, because
Did you
Blackout
enjoy
was an
Blackout?
intentional.
Blackout was great.
That's
Blackout was
on
weird.
That doesn't matter though. That's not the point. The point is that Blackout was an intentional turning off of a feature.
But I thought you said before that that the changes were they were working as intended.
Yeah, the problem was that they don't actually know that the devs that made this change don't actually know what an NPC Socio is. They didn't know that this was a thing that they turned off.
And
That's the
do
whole
they?
point.
And do you think they care?
I don't know if they care. How would
Well,
I
I didn't
know?
ask you what you knew, Cable. I asked you what you thought.
I mean, fuck if I know.
Do you think they care?
Honestly,
Wait a minute.
probably
Wait a minute.
not.
What do you mean, the fuck if I know? I believe you've discussed that you've made an extensive design document and guidance for
Yes.
CCP and how you can improve, how they can
It's
improve the
not
game.
done
What do you
yet.
mean it's not done yet? So you haven't covered
It's
this in your
only-
own
it's
design
only-
document?
Design documents
because
take time, Rich.
It's 50 pages long already. I'm like
50 pages
halfway
long?
through it. I'm like halfway through it, and this is a thing that was added like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever the fuck it was. 3 weeks by today, actually.
I bet the first
So
25
no,
pages
I didn't actually get
the
to
last
it.
25 pages.
No, they don't.
Rich,
So
Because
you're halfway through.
they're-
You're halfway through. It's 50 pages long. So we're looking at what's double of 50? That's right, 100. 100 pages worth of design document. And very well.
Rich, what the fuck?
Rich is like,
What's the point, Rich?
I don't like
why-
this. I don't
why
like
are
this.
you-
I'm gonna find a reason why I don't like this. Just give me a
Alright,
second, boys.
No.
Rich, why are you so angry at just bringing up this conversation?
I don't think
What?
he's
I'm
angry.
passing
I
this
just
through.
wanna
I'm
know-
passing this through.
I just wanna
I'm
know
curious
where his
then.
point is.
Okay. If I believe 50 pages in, you should have generally a good idea of what the hell you're writing about, right? Like when I did my dissertation, 25% of the way in, I already knew what the hell what was going on. I just had to type
Rich.
everything and get all the references. I mean, in your case, you're 50% through.
Rich,
How could you say "fuck if I know"? What's up?
the document that I've been writing over the past month or something is not a like thesis or dissertation. It is simply a list of problems within the game and the design philosophy of CCP and how to fix it. Explanation of how and why and what that's going to mean for the game and the impact of it and so on and so forth. It is not a debate about something. It is my personal views about
It's a
certain
list about
problems.
how you would fix it.
Rich, also, design documents have a tendency to be really fucking long.
I
Yeah,
look
of course,
forward to it.
because you have to fucking discuss and argue back and forth with about everything, like
So-
all the outcomes of every single thing,
So
like
here's my real
CCP
question,
should do.
Cable. When it's finished, where are you going to post it?
Well, I'm first gonna hand it to the dev who asked for it, and then see see what he says. And then potentially I'll post it to Reddit or whatever the fuck. Who
Fuck
cares?
you, man.
The problem
Fuck
is-
you for saying Reddit. Fuck you!
Redline, Jesus Christ!
No. Okay. He's gonna post it onto Reddit, and you know
problem
exactly
is
what's
that it's
gonna happen.
gonna-
It's gonna
be
get
read by
downvoted.
Nobody. Of course,
It's
it
gonna
is.
get shit posted on it. People
It's
are
gonna be brigaded to the ground because everyone hates Cable. Because he's a
Well, why
filthy
don't you post it
cheater
somewhere?
and
Why don't you post
scripter.
it somewhere that doesn't hate you? Why don't you post it somewhere where you'll get actual people reading it? You
Everyone
post it on
fucking hates
Reddit.
me. It
You want to
doesn't
post it on
matter
Reddit, or
where I
you want to
post
post it on the I don't know. You want to chisel it into stone in the place where academics go to, where the top tier people go to read for their best news sources, for the most informative articles. You think people go on Reddit? You think people go on Reddit for news?
boy.
You think
All
people
right,
go on
so
Reddit to
hold
be
up.
informed?
Before
Fuck
you-
no. You go on Reddit
Before
for
you-
Adam
before you
Deathstroke
chill
shit
out,
posting
before
memes.
Before you chill out, let me
Rich.
just answer the question in chat about who is Cable. Cable is
Yikes.
the winner of the Abyssal. We'll call it a tournament.
What?
Every time I have to say it's a tournament, I have to chuckle.
Back-to-back winner.
Cable is the 2-time champion.
No, 9-time champion.
9-time champion
of the Abyssal tournament. He and
Really?
9 times.
I'm sorry.
Are you alright, Redline?
Cable and his 15 alts.
15.
Cable user, 9-time back-to-back champion. He's not only this,
so
but he's a
Cable
kingmaker.
won-
He decides CSM votes.
Cable won the tournament against himself
15 times. Breaking news: man plus his 15 selves breaks the entire record of winning an entire championship. Man wins it 15 times back to back.
I'm sorry, viewers, for being this way.
Is he gonna send 15 of these articles to CCP?
Yes.
Okay, so anyways, Cable is literally the guy that inspired the change of the rules of the Abyssal tournament so that you can't queue your alts anymore, because that's all he did.
Wait, you were able to?
Yes.
Why would you ever be able to?
Because CCP, dude.
Fucking shit at game design.
God damn it, CCP.
Now,
So pretty
you
sure
can quote
Cable
this.
made up the top 10 of all the tournaments that he was in.
I won every tournament. I won them all.
He won them all.
He
Yes,
won
I
them
won
all.
them
He
all.
won the first place prize. He won the skins. He won the loot.
So-
He extracted
What
those
did you-
skills and
what
then
did you
sold the
get?
injectors.
What did you get for winning, by the way?
The individual ones or the overall thing?
Like overall, because I remember seeing a post somewhere. I think it was on Reddit, but didn't you post like what your winnings were, or was that somebody else?
Well, the total profit after losing 60 billion or 70 billion worth of caracals, 45 billion worth of stabbers in the first event, we net profited approximately 80 billion isk.
We.
Wow.
Well,
Who's we?
well, each of us.
Oh, okay. You and your 60 alts. I mean, 15 alts.
Me, myself, and I. You know.
Okay.
Me, myself, and I.
So
Would you?
just for the audience, he's not schizophrenic. He just has 15 accounts.
What'd you get for the store prize?
The Abyssal
We
tournament
haven't
strike
used
lightning.
the voucher yet.
You haven't used it yet? Okay.
We haven't gotten it yet.
You gonna get the socks?
EVE Online has socks. What? I'm buying
Socks.
these.
Cable, what socks are these?
The Eden Come socks.
I'm sorry?
Oh my god.
What? Cable, you want to rephrase that, my friend?
No.
Did you say
CCP.
Edencom socks?
Should post that on
No.
post the outcome
No.
on OnlyFans, my dude.
Holy what?
So, guys, welcome to
you
Trash
were
Talk
gonna
Tuesday.
socks.
This is the
You have to understand, CCP.
Welcome
made
to
a
Trash
typo.
Talk Tuesday, everybody,
When-
where
when-
shit goes down the hill.
God
when
damn.
when
What the fuck?
CCP put the Edencom socks on their store, they made a typo and it said Eden Come. So we
Oh.
were very delighted that we could buy Eden Come socks.
Did they typo
Excuse me,
it?
1 second.
Was it really a typo? Was it really?
It
I
got
think it was
fixed.
a way to
Cable.
reach
Yes.
a different demographic.
Got changed within 15 minutes of us posting it on Reddit. So
Oof.
Boy, there's a lot of red on this map. I'm on my goon character looking at the Eve map. I see a lot of red jump gates.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
gonna
I'm
be
Sure you're
talking
not
about.
talking about these election
Thought you
results?
were looking at the
Absolutely
iMac.
not.
I'm
Absolutely not,
I
Rain.
wouldn't be talking about politics on this stream.
I mean, there's a lot.
As you said earlier on the tweeter, we are
Oh
the
my God.
oasis in the chaos. Except actually, I think we're a little bit more chaotic than the elections.
They have Triglavian socks and Edencom socks. They really do.
Yeah,
But
that's-
you
we
know what?
talked about that
You
just
know
a
what?
I'm
second
gonna
Quote-
buy some. That's
You
real.
know what? You know what? Quote this, clip this, whatever. The CCP's design philosophy at this point is great ideas, bad execution, and we can see this in the tournament, a lot of the recent updates. It's a travesty. It is honestly a travesty.
He
And
hasn't
I
released
would
a tournament in over a year, dude. 2 years.
sorry, the Abyssal Filament Tournament. Oh wait, no, we're not going to count those tournaments now because
Count.
one man and his dream destroyed it all, 9 times back to back. He can't keep getting away with this.
I'll have you know that I warned CCP that this was going to happen a month in advance.
So
I mean, we all saw how well that worked for Goons. I don't think that's really a saving point for you, bud.
I mean, just
you warned CCP, but what did they tell you? What did they reply to you?
All they had to do was write 30 lines of text, and it would have never happened.
Well, there's your problem right there. CCP would have had to do something. Now, you know, the thing is that I never, ever, ever bash CCP. I'm always the first one to be like, yeah, CCP's doing their best, guys. Like, they've got a plan. I believe in the plan. I believe that CCP has a plan for us as their children. But now, I am angry at CCP because they don't come on the show. So, that's where I am right now.
Well, then again, this is a trash talk show. I don't think anyone from CCP would want to show up.
Yeah, but realistically, like if you think about it objectively, so think about this show, right? So this show does have a higher concentration of people that actually log in and play the game than any other Eve Talk show. Like there's no just talking heads here. I mean, I'm an FC, Villy leads an alliance basically. Rain is a Logi FC. Sager is a bitter vet, and he's a Wardeck champion. Was a Wardeck champion. Loki leads a corporation of mostly retarded people.
Wait, what the
and...
fuck? For A, you don't know who the fuck is in my corporation because you never met them. Secondly, I believe I was in the same fucking FC channel as you were. However, I was in that FC channel for like 3.5 fucking years. Just because a few little cunts in USTZ don't like me does not mean that I'm not a good
I
FC,
heard through the
way.
grapevine that you were sucker punching USTZ.
What does that mean?
You were saying that a certain alliance's USTZ was ruining USTZ.
That's not what I said, no.
Okay, that's fine. If that's not what you said, then we don't have to move forward. We can move forward.
If you want to get into my
No,
opinion
I don't.
of NC
I
Dots
don't.
Fire it up.
USTZ,
Let's
that would
go.
be one thing. But
Fight.
I wouldn't say that they're ruining USTZ. That's a little passive aggressive, and I'm not a passive aggressive person, my friend.
Fire it up.
No,
we're not doing that.
No, we're not going off of this random fucking tangent. But I'm just gonna say, like, I don't know. I stand whatever the fuck it is I did say actually did make sense to some degree, and wasn't just weird and ominous.
How does Cable get all the good arguments and at me with them? Because we were talking about the servers being stable, and he's just linking me disconnect screenshots. Like, dude, if you didn't have 15 accounts logged in, maybe you wouldn't disconnect so fucking much, huh?
Danish government to get you some real fucking internet, buddy. I think that's...
Look, there's no fucking tournaments to win. And of course, the other people that are in the channel here on the show, they are good people as well. I didn't have enough time to talk about what they do before I got distracted by Loki's incessant rudeness.
Talk about tournaments because the Alliance Open is the next couple weekends. So it's not this weekend. This weekend on Saturday, they're probably going to have like the EVT team versus CCP sort of like friendly match, kind of to showcase how the event will work. But then the next 2 weekends, so the second and the third weekend of November, which the dates are the 14th and the 15th, and then the 21st and the 22nd, they're going to have the actual Alliance Open. So that's 32, I think it's 32 teams going against each other, double elimination, kind of similar to the Alliance tournament rules. You can check it all out at eve-nt.uk/Alliance Opens, I think it is.
By the way, if you know anybody from EVT, please tell them to update the designer.
Literally any EVT. That's Tamber. I can mention it to him.
Yeah, just see if he'll update the designer. Put on the Edencom ships, the Triglavian ships. Just your regular run-of-the-mill stuff that is like required. Cause like and you said it's Tamer or Tamra?
Tamber. Like Timbre, but with an A.
Like timbre?
Yeah, I'll add you to the Discord.
Okay. Well, I just want you to tell that person that I absolutely love that designer tool. It is my favorite thing of any Eve resource that I've ever used. It is so helpful for artwork of ships, and I never knew who created it, but I just appreciate them so much for taking the time to create it.
I'll let him know. I'll also let him know to update it. I invited you.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys like tournaments and you don't want to watch Cable just win against himself? Check out this weekend or the next 2 weekends to actually see the Alliance Open.
Rain, when is the 5v5 scrims game back in circle, you know?
Not sure. I think Dronix is still taking a break from Eve because it kind of burned him out, which is fair. If you guys know anything about tournaments, they just burn people out, especially the folks who run them. So hopefully he'll be back.
With Geronix, I told him how to make it so that it didn't burn him out, because he was doing like 14, or not 14, but like 8-hour streams every weekend. And I told him, I was like, it's super simple, dude. Just instead of doing live streams, pre-record all the content and then broadcast over it as though you're watching it for the first time. No one would have known the difference, and then no one would have sat through an 8-hour stream. That's what they do in League of Legends.
Or you could have delegated it, get some people to stream for him.
No.
Yeah.
It's 5v5 scrims without Geronix isn't 5v5 scrims. Geronix is a legend and an amazing person, and I like him a lot.
Gives me a
So,
hard eggplant.
for the rest of the show, we're turning off the trash talk. Instead, we're going to say nice things about the people that are involved with the things that we enjoy. So, first off, I would like to thank the Goonswarm Federation, specifically Asher Elias, for allowing me to take credit for beating him strategically once again for the first time since the Battle of WH-TAC JCA in the War for Tribute, where I completely humiliated him on the field of battle and became the hero of the North. Recently, I helped to control iHubs that didn't matter, and it mattered to me because one of them is a Keepstar iHub in K6, and the Gooners formed, but they didn't form fast enough. We were out there, we had already hacked like 6 nodes by the time they even got on field, and I just had one of my buddies from Horde camp him out of the system. And they were just trying to run around to get through, and they couldn't do it. Strategically outclassed and outplayed. So I thank you, Asher, for that opportunity. Anybody else want to thank anybody?
I want to thank Billy for not showing up.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, he keeps talking about unanchoring our YZ9 Keepstar, but yet
yeah, man, he's
never showing up.
Shit. Yep.
You know what? I like to thank myself for humbly reminding everybody to keep politics out of this stream repeatedly. I am very humble to
haven't announced
receive
Iowa
this.
yet. I want to see what they predict for Iowa.
The entire show's about fucking politics, dude. Just not
Hey,
politics.
a Wild Star, thanks for the subscription. Guys, remember you can subscribe with Twitch with Prime Gaming for free if you'd like to.
I like to thank Rich for living in a wormhole with nothing but bots.
And a picture of Cable Utah on his wall to keep him warm at night.
Oh my
Next
god.
to his kitty.
You know what, Sega? I'll tell you what, you're going to see some shit in the next few days. You're going to see some shit. I guarantee you.
Am I? Am I
yeah,
really?
You're going to lose a Myrmidon or 3,
I can
dude.
hold
You better
my
be careful.
Hold your breath from all you like. Try to increase your lung capacity because you're going to need it for, well, the shenanigans that we pull off.
You gonna come out in a
Wait a
crucifier
second.
and try to tackle me?
Why? Befuddled Sport, why does this feel like Dad hit Mom at the dinner table? What the fuck does that even mean?
Just like some awkward silence or something is what he
There's
means.
no
I don't
awkward
understand what he's-
silence.
Yeah, I don't think that there is.
We're having a full-on conversation about we're thanking people for doing things that we liked that they did. Like Sager appreciated that Bill didn't come onto the show tonight, so that we had we could have an uninterrupted stream of not talking shit about goons. Which I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but we didn't talk shit about goons tonight. We just said that they lost constellations in Delph.
They're not really
thank my
relevant to this
dealer for-
conversation or the stream, are they?
Right? See, not everything is about your enemy. Remember that,
I'd like
Brisk.
to thank my my dealer for delivering drugs at 11 o'clock in the evening.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So, as a stream, the New Eden Post does not support the use of illegal drugs. We do, however, support the use of legal drugs that have been prescribed to you by a licensed medicine practicer.
Well, they're legal in my country, so.
Doctor. The word
I
is
prefer
doctor.
wife.
A doctor.
Medical.
Like, what if a homeopath prescribes some interesting medications?
I mean, I have nothing
If a
against
guru prescribes it.
homeopaths. Who?
Guru.
A ghoul?
We're past Halloween, dude.
A guru.
A guru? Is he a practicing medicine man? Does he get paid to perform medical things?
Yeah.
Then it counts. He's a professional. But not like Mike Myers in The Guru. That was a terrible movie.
I liked when Kanye West was watching hockey. That was pretty good. But outside
Don't
of
ever
that,
forget. Homeopath is pseudoscience. All right, so let's talk about another pseudoscience. Let's talk about ESS changes in EVO.
the fucking segue. Holy shit, dude.
So I don't think
love
we've actually. So in the last 2 weeks, the changes that have been made to the game or that have been, finalized and announced have been so batshit crazy that we haven't even had a chance to talk about them. Instead, we have just been going nuts and enjoying the fact that Trash Talk Tuesday is back. And it's the little things, So realistically, I want to go through the room. What kind of impact do you think these ESS changes are going to have on your playstyle specifically? As a player in EVE Online, as a corporation leader, as a poor girl from Iowa.
What the fuck?
Wow, boxing. God
I
damn.
meant in game.
So,
Not
as a ratter, I literally don't care about the ESS changes. I never cared when we used the ESS before when I ratted. Or I guess when we didn't when I ratted, and I'm not going to care after.
I'm gonna follow you around and steal your fucking ESS money every day now, Rain.
Go
It'll be
for
great.
it. I'll let you know what system I'm riding into with my rattlesnake.
Yeah.
NSI.
No, I get yelled at when I rat in NSI.
I'm going to start ratting in Delve.
Actually, I'll tell you what, that is actually the best idea ever. You want to go somewhere to rat if you're in Pappy, ladies and gentlemen. You go take your super and go rat in FW right next door to FWST. Any system within Sino jump range of FWST, get yourself a recon alt there and just go rat. Why? Because there are the entire 2 coalitions worth of supers and FCs and other subcat pilots right within Sino range of you. They're all itching to prove themselves in battle. These low-level FCs, they all
no
want
idea
to do
what you're talking
something.
about.
Do I know? Do I not know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
if
you do
goons,
not.
if goons tackle your super when you're ratting there,
Rich,
people want to fucking fight.
Rich,
Yeah, what's up, baby?
Hey, Rich. So low-level FCs don't FC supers, by the way.
No shit. They're gonna FC some subcat responsibly. They're gonna get themselves, prove themselves in battle. And God forbid goons drop dreads on you, which they can't afford to do. You can ping a super FC. Yeah, what's up, baby?
How much he doesn't know about
Stop calling me baby, first off. That is the
Watch,
weirdest.
he's gonna get one of those Edencom socks out on you.
The weirdest shit in the world. And second off, have you ever seen, or now, let me ask you it this way: do you ever feel Like a plastic bag?
Drifting through the wind?
Well,
Drifting through the wind?
drifting through the wind. No, the only thing that
Used and thrown
blows in the
away.
wind is my shirt. I don't
Used
think of
and thrown
myself as a
away.
plastic bag.
You ever feel?
I'm thin, I'm light, I'm strong, but I'm not a plastic bag.
So you're a
Uh-huh.
paper bag.
No, I haven't tried setting myself on fire yet, so I wouldn't know.
Yet? Do you intend to?
Let me check.
You have to
It's not
check
in
on
the
if you're
calendar.
gonna set
It's
yourself
not in
on
the calendar.
fire? If he says it's not in the calendar, I'm literally cutting the stream and going to sleep.
No, I don't have any plans to go the way of the Buddhist monk.
It took you that long to just say that?
Yes.
Why? Why?
You know,
Why?
I had to
Why?
test if I was flammable.
You tried to light yourself on fire just now?
Sure.
What? Why?
He's got a lighter in his hand.
He's doing it again. He's got a light. Alright, anyways. I don't know what else to talk about. So there was a fight last night. It seemed like it was a pretty interesting fight that took place. Persistence, were you there?
He's deafened my man.
Great. Okay, so
Definitely for like over an hour.
Persistence was there because I scooped his corpse. I was there. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, let's hear it, Rain. What happened last night?
So there was a Sotio coming out in PUIG. So Pappy forces rallied a bunch of subcaps, dropped. They also dropped carriers and began to bash the fort. Imperium brought Cerberus fleet and a tornado fleet and like Ares/bomber fleets to try and defend the Sotio. They counter-escalated with carriers, got them capped up. And this was the most amazing part, by the way. So they capped up, and then they started using their carriers to fight, right? So carrier versus carrier, like kind of fighting. They had SSF fighters, so anti-fighters to fight the Pappy fighters. Let me see if I can phrase that right. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
you got
confusing.
it. You got it.
All right. So the carriers were fighting the carriers via fighters fighting over the structure because the subcaps were fighting. So therefore, the only thing pausing the structure was the Pappy carriers. When they started doing that, Pappy dropped Titans and Supers. However, as Pappy is literally sinoing in Titans and Supers, Imperium had their ran in here, so I'm like out of breath. Imperium had their Ares fleet go and blap the Sino, and then they Sinoed out all but like 9 of their carriers. And so Pappy lands on grid, starts DDing, and they miss like the majority of the Imperium fleet because they just jumped out. Now, granted, they did get 9 carrier kills, right? So that helped them win the Isquar, helped Pappy win the Isquar, and they also reinforced the Sotio. But it seemed like they were more willing to do, like it was more than just shooting a Sotio. It was more about the escalation and trying to catch some like Imperium caps, but it kind of didn't work.
We caught 9 of them.
No, I mean, yeah, it was pretty good, but like in the grand scheme of what they could have caught, they didn't catch them all. They're not like Pokemon or whatever.
Oh my gosh, she said it.
Another thing too is it was honestly kind of great because I was in the subcat fleet, and for some reason I kept drifting off of my FC. Anyway, during that fight, when the subcaps were trying to keep the Sotio locked, the fighters were the interceptors were constantly burst jamming us, so they'd warp in, burst jam, and warp out. So it was really annoying to be playing on 2 monitors and trying to do stuff with my other account, meanwhile trying to constantly relock the Sotio. So Goons definitely made that a little bit difficult for me.
The other thing too was so when Pappy dropped their carriers, they kind of dropped them at range, right, and then boated the fighters over. So for safety, you don't want to sit them right on top of the Sotio, especially as an attacker. But what was really funny, so the tornado fleet, I think it was mostly tornadoes that Imperium dropped. They would warp them off and then warp them back, and they would shoot like the farthest carrier that had like bumped or boated away. And they almost got it down. It was in a hole by the time like they got chased off and the carriers were able to jump out from Pappy. So it was almost like really interesting of just watching subcaps blap a carrier on grid. It was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty funny.
And then it looks like there was a Tatara that died today in QI6. That's one of the systems where Pappy holds an iHub. Just by the way, and that's one of the iHubs that I saved in one of the fleets that I ran. So, you know, I do things, I promise. So is that really just how the war is going? It's fucking goons not dropping their caps and us dropping our caps, and we're just kind of
Well, if we
fisting each
do
other
remember,
until we.
Brisk did say a while ago, I forget how long this was ago, maybe like 2 months ago, that Goons had no cap fleet. If we do remember that, they had like a very low number.
What are you talking about?
Do you not remember when? Okay, this was a very long time ago, not too long ago, but during like maybe the start of the war or mid-war, Brace said something about how Goons or Imperium Foley had barely any capitals. Do we not?
You're wrong. It was actually Billy who was talking to Brisk and Billy.
Also, I can 100% tell you that they had caps before. Like if someone said that they didn't have caps, they were obviously either trolling or not very smart.
There's got to be a reason they're not dropping them.
They are. We saw them drop them yesterday
What did they drop them for?
to try and save the Sotio. But then they failed, and then they jumped out as soon as we got Titans on grid because they didn't want to counter escalate.
I think we're talking more along the lines of like super capitals though, because that was the big thing, right? You'll never beat our super capital fleet.
The problem is the problem always is though is having something that you'd want to drop super caps on, right? So like a Keepstar's worth what, like 300 bill at the very most, but like how many Titans and supers is that? It's not a lot. It's not a full fleet for
3,
sure. Yeah.
4.
So it's like you're not gonna drop 3 or 4 Titans solo, but you're also not gonna drop 200 Titans to save a Keepstar when it's like the Keepstar is worth less than those Titans. So might as well just replace the Keepstar than replace the Titans. If you lose, that's assuming you lose the fight. So it's almost like it's similar to like the war in the north where like Pan Fam forces never dropped their supers or their supers or Titans because they didn't need to. It's like might as well just feed a Keepstar, have some sub caps or cap brawls, and then call it quits.
Aren't they on anchoring their Keepstars though?
I saw one anchoring last night.
It'd be very, very nice if Billy could come back, actually talk about stuff.
Poke 'em.
Well, I've just eaten a ghost pepper. I will begin.
Billy.
Squared, hello, folks.
Where you been, buddy?
Kicking ass and taking names.
Awesome.
What have you been up to?
Hanging out in here and listening to Rich go on about how his bots constantly talk to his head.
Oh please, no! I'm currently under the influence of a ghost pepper. So Villy, please take the show before I lose my mouth.
Or he sets himself on fire.
You're like, I won't do drugs, but you're sitting there eating ghost peppers. Jesus.
Which fight name did you just take, Villy? Then.
If you look on the kill boards, it's a nice little brawl in D-P actually.
You guys win?
Yeah, 40 bill to 9.
Nice.
Revica and
Yeah.
Good Sex, was it? Oh, Goons.
Yeah, so Revica had a bait Astra House anchoring in D-P, so I formed up to kill it. We saw goons forming instantly for it. The elitist ops guy brought his Falcon in to like way early. It was super obvious who it was. Hustlin, I think it is. So then we were like, okay, maybe there'll be traps because there's no real other reason to have a Falcon there. They brought in a whole bunch of kickies with goons. We mostly just sat on the Astra House and shot it while it was repairing. Eventually, they made a play. We killed a bunch of kickies. They bounced off. They tried again. This time they dropped like 6 caps. So we warped in supers and just killed them with our Tempest. And then they tried another play with kickies and like Succubus fleet from Avika. And it's just, I don't know, we like literally like curb stomped them. Like it was pretty rough. So
What the hell is a succubus fleet?
Ravika was trying. It looks like it didn't do all that well, but it's an interesting concept. Looks like.
And that was the structure that our friend the Matani was talking about, I'm assuming, this past weekend, where he was making fun of you guys for letting them anchor structures in your staging system. Is that the same one, or is this a different one?
I don't know what Matani said, so I'm not in a position to like try.
Well, you don't watch the
Wait a minute.
meta show?
Wait a minute, Billy. Was this a content Astra House for you? Or was it for them? This.
Well, it became a content Astra House for us for sure, but you know, that's how it goes. Some goon guy had his full high grade amulet bought in. He died.
Nice.
You know, just standard night of fun in Esoteria with Dest. You know.
So, when's the Keepstar Bash?
Which Keepstar Bash?
The goon one. When are we gonna kill that first Keepstar? I'm itching.
Oh, I don't know. Sometime in the week or two, would be my guess. We were originally planning to do it this week, but there's just been so many timers, and the momentum on the iHubs was going really nice, so we weren't able to really find time to squeeze it in. We'll get around to it at some point. It's just a Keepstar.
I just love that the Keepstar timer is something that gets squeezed in. Like,
I mean, it's like, you know, we have a pretty heavy op tempo going, and we don't want to, you know, like, you know, as much as anything, you're trying to maintain your guys' time and their patience and everything, right? So, you know, we're trying to make sure that, you know, we have a nice tempo for ops and things are kind of scheduled and it's a nice flow. And that means, you know, sometimes we delay things that otherwise we wouldn't, or we do things in different order that might not make sense on paper, but, you know, are pretty good. Like tonight, for example, was actually kind of supposed to be like a little bit of a rest for our guys. Obviously, getting a nice good feed is usually just as good or better, but especially when it's pretty light like this and pretty short. But you know, we're just trying to balance it all out, you know, and keep the momentum nice and continuous and ponderous, and move forward.
So, Lily, I have to ask. It's been said by goons that Esoteria is on fire, but when you look at Esoteria, a lot of the iHubs, like it seems that a lot of the fighting's been like in the same area for the past many weeks.
It's actually been like many years, literally. That area, that area of Stain has been harassed by Ferrata since literally like 2017 when we got here.
Wait, I think
we've lost BYJ to them a couple times. We've lost HHQ a couple times. It's just like there's only like two. There's like 2 good moons in that area. I think like HHQ actually is like one of the best moons probably in the game. It's like a double Dispro 99% or something. Insane. But like aside from that, there's like nothing good in that area. And because it's so heavily harassed by Stainwagon, it's generally not an ideal kind of ratting pocket. Or it's all pipe, right? So it's not a really good pocket for ratting or any of that kind of stuff. So generally, we don't use that area that much. When the second FWST timer, I think it was happening, we kind of made the choice to just let it all die so that we wouldn't really have to defend it, since it's outside of DB cap range and it allows them to kind of draw us out more trying to defend it, and it's really awkward. Obviously, that was a huge victory for them, and you know, we lost the Sov, they gained the Sov 100%. But yeah, and from there we reset the lines of where we were going to hold the Sov. We held those lines up until yesterday when we kind of tripped and misstepped and lost OTEC O. But otherwise, we haven't lost a single iHub.
Are those really relevant? I mean, those northern ones. I lived, my 3 months in test. That stuff was toasted all the time. The guy and
Right.
his what's it called? His Vexor Navy issue.
So, Billy, what you're saying is
The point is that, at least from what I'm hearing, is that it's causing people to need to jump clone back home, and that the more they jump clone, the less apt they are to go back to the regular staging and actually fight there. Which
Not
I
really.
don't think
Test
is
is
true.
dual jump clones since literally we got Testataria, right? That's our modus operandi is to jump clone. Absolutely, it's like it's annoying. It's always been annoying, right? It's not something that's new to us being annoying. It's been annoying when we were in the frat war and they were doing it to us. It's been annoying when we were in the war with, in Catch when they were doing it to us. It's always been annoying. It keeps us on our toes for sure. Stainwagon's developed some new tactics over the last couple of months involving like tornadoes, and now they're trying Vedmax. They're a good group of PvPers, right? They're not weak. They're pretty capable. They're a very small group that's tight knit. It's hard to get spies in. It's just got a lot of things that work for them, right? And they're really good at their asymmetrical warfare. So props to them, credit to them. Um, I they are technically part of Matani's team, so he can take credit for their victories, and they are victories. They got some iHubs. Props to them. Uh, but it's standard business for anybody that's been in test for any amount of time.
so. This fires that the Matani talked about are more just a bed sheet with a fire painted on it.
No, it'd be more like a guy sitting, like this homeless dude sitting outside your house with a fire pit that you have to like lock your doors at night for, kind of thing. Like he's annoying, and you really wish you could get rid of him, but you can't because he's just gonna keep coming back, kind of thing. That's a weird analogy, but
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's kind of sad how well it fits, honestly. Well, I mean, at 11:15 at night, I've lost the I've
You guys
lost
talk.
stuff to talk about. What's the next topic? I don't
Did you
know.
guys talk about losing, like the 15 iHubs we took this week?
We talked about it briefly. We were doing our best not to just shit on goons, like
Yeah.
both in game and out of game, because like it's getting pretty rough out there to be a goon. Kind of feel for him. I mean, I did talk to, I did thank Asher for allowing me to strategically outplay him for the QI6 and K6 iHubs the other day, which was fun. But that's pretty much it, dude. That's pretty much
Were
it.
you able to extract all that loot out of that QI6 structure?
This morning,
Yeah, the Tatara.
we got every penny.
Ooh.
They're in Oracle too. Just so that there's something to say.
Right?
How much
Yeah,
was it?
22 bill, 25 Eve appraisal, I think.
Oof.
So, and that
Did
won't be
nobody
the one.
Did nobody think to move all the stuff into, say, a freighter and just log off with it for 6 weeks?
The thing is, what happens is when you have a job like that, a lot of people that have those kind of jobs going, they stop playing the game or they take a break or whatever, and they don't think about their jobs, right? And or even you're away and like you're PvPing and you're in 1DQ or whatever, and you don't think about your job, like, oh, I'll go get it later, and then all of a sudden the shit's reinforced and you can't get it out, right? So your choice is to try and cancel it and lose all your shit, or hope that it doesn't die, basically. And there's sometimes a chance that it won't die, right? We'll miss the time or whatever. So.
Or if it does die, you're there to scoop it before the other people are.
I mean, if anybody was there to scoop it that wasn't Pappy, they would have surely died.
Likely.
There was a legacy fleet there, and there was a horde fleet, I think, at the time, and Test and NCPL were just sitting there waiting for him if needed. So, like, it was, the goons only showed up with, I don't even know what they showed up with. I don't think they showed up with anything, actually.
Well, they had formed like 3 fleets or something, didn't they? That was the, they had a Serb fleet, Jackdaw fleet, or 2 fleets, I guess. Because that was a few hours ago, right?
No, those were for the iHub timers.
Oh. Which iHubs even were contested tonight?
K and PFQ. We weren't actually going for them, but Goons
Did they get them
formed.
back?
Well, they were Goon iHubs, right? So they repaired.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
It was just a retake, like it's already been broken, and they retook it, and then we reinforced it, so it's got no upgrades in it, kind of thing. So we didn't really care about that one, and the only other one was K-back, and we really didn't hyper care. Like one iHub a night is a lot of work for one iHub. Like when you get used to taking like multiple iHubs a night, it's like one iHub take. Is that worth our time? Nah, let's give the guys a night off. But I mean, seriously though, right? Like you know, when you're trying to maximize guys' time and burnout and everything else, right? You want to like if you can, if the choice is take 5 iHubs a night or 1 iHub a night, you're obviously going to take 5, right? So
I just honestly can't believe that this is how this war is going. Like I can't believe it. I did want to ask you though, because I saw a ping from Asher the other day that essentially said something along the lines of like, we're losing, but the enemy is getting closer to being in range of our capital fleet, and that he was looking forward to that. What do you think the significance is there? Do you think we'll start to see more like more engagements on a capital front, or is it, you think it's just going to be the same shit that we're seeing now, just posturing and then, for lack of a better word, passing?
I don't know, honestly. They had the capital advantage in during the C3N timer, whether they knew it or not, because we were having to mid to Fortizars and they were able to mid on Keep Stars. But we just have so many more caps and supers than them. I don't know if the range will really make much of a difference in the long term. We're just going to continue chewing up structures and chewing up iHubs, whichever we want to do on a given day, and we're going to continue doing so, bit by bit, day by day, and kind of slowly work back towards the strangulation plan and making sure that we choke them out bit by bit.
So this next is going to start constricting.
Well, realistically, it has now, right? As we take every system, that means the noose is that little bit tighter, right? All our cloaky campers condense a little bit more. People have to watch less systems, right? So, Delve is only, I think, 70 systems of Sov, and if you add in like the 10 quarry systems, it's like 80, and then they've lost like 25, so they're down to 55 systems, something like that. So that's a lot easier to camp than like 90 or 100 or 200, right? So it makes a difference in terms of the ability to find targets and then hone in on those targets in short order. And we're determined to do that and make sure that any ratting or mining is basically a death sentence, and that bit by bit they're gonna start to bleed, and we're already starting to see that, obviously. So we're just going to continue to working towards our winning plays and continue to make progress bit by bit. We're in no rush. Things are going good, and they continue to go good. So, us hurrying into anything doesn't really gain us much. So,
And if we wait long enough, then they have to pay like 2 trillion ISK to core their structures. And
well, not really. Coring your structures only gets you tether and tether fitting and repair, right? So a large amount of the keep stars that they have will probably remain uncored.
I mean,
You'll core
they've done so much, like based on the fact that they can tether or that they have structures. There's no way they don't core that shit. Like, it would be so stupid of them to do that, because then all of like Asher's, big brain plays that haven't worked would just be completely, it wouldn't even happen anymore.
The retethering to jump out.
Yeah, exactly.
Tethering is just a strong tactical advantage, and I mean, Asher plays around it a lot because it's a good defensive advantage to have, and it acts as a very significant force multiplier. So I don't think he's making any mistakes playing around it. How much they will core, I don't know, but certainly as we continue in the coming months, I think we're just 2 months out of core time. My guess is we'll be at least a good chunk deeper into Delve at that point. And then the question will become, do you core the Sotios, do you core the Tataras as we begin hitting them? because without that tether advantage, a lot of those structures are going to be significantly harder to defend. You're correct, and I don't know how they will play it. Obviously, certainly we've seen Keepstars on anchoring already, so they're definitely considering trying to mitigate losses at least a little bit. So it's hard to see how they'll play it. I'm not sure.
Or maybe
Obviously, the rhetoric is not going to match the reality.
they're
Right.
bleeding money already too much, and they're selling off those keep stars, or wanting to sell off those keep stars that they are unanchoring.
And then I saw I guess you could call it a leak from Atrum, talking in some channel somewhere about how the stockpile of minerals, and including minerals that they had, sent people to go purchase from Jita and stuff like that, and from like their enemy's space, that all of that stuff was gone. Do you think there's any truth to that, or is that just bait?
Well, truth and non-truth. I'm sure they went to Jita and emptied out the market before the changes happened. That wouldn't surprise me. I used to I think I maintained buy orders in Jita for ore for like the last 6 to 8 months, like on all kinds of different ore types. Just because we're constantly trying to build up ore caches, and every time I build up any sizable amount of ore cache, ProGod decides on some new doctrine he wants to try, and then empties out my fucking ore cache. Uh, I'm always trying to like turn TTT money into ore so that ProGod can do his next crazy idea, whether it be ravens or rocks or God knows what. Um,
Or
but
what was it? What was the doctrine that you guys used a lot in Cache? The I forget what it was called. It had such a
Tempest?
clever name. No,
surfers?
What
swag
about that?
surfers. Yes.
What the funny doctrine that they used in Vale when we fought them?
I forget what that
Mythology,
doctrine was. Like Logi Demoses or something?
Catursus with Demoses and Zealots, yeah.
Ugh.
I don't actually know if the comp is good or bad, to be honest. It's never had like a true, real field test. Every time it's ever been on the field, it's been either heavily outnumbered or heavily outnumbering. So it's never really gotten a proper, a true field test, I would say. I think the Ikatersology actually makes sense on paper. Just the ability to ADC your Logi is pretty fucking huge, obviously. And
Well, your Nightmare Fleet's certainly got a good test in Cache. I've got a monitor last mail to prove that.
we always knew monitors were good, or monitors. We always knew Nightmare Fleet was good. That's been tests like go-to battleship doctrines. I think like 2017. We've been using nightmares.
It's a
They're
good doctrine. I
strong.
hate fighting it.
Yeah, and as you know, a regional holder of Stain, like one of the few, it's always been something that we, to a degree, always had like a good supply line on. So it made sense to do it. It's a great faction battleship, and we've always it's kind of been unique to us. So we definitely have enjoyed using nightmares.
I thought the Stain residents in Ferrata were gonna do everything they can to disrupt their supply lines and your ability to get Sancha goods.
Yeah, no, they sell it to us just like the rest. There's no shortage of people willing to sell us stuff from Stain, whether it be Nirvanas or Nightmares or whatever. As long as we're paying market price, they're more than happy to do so.
Ooh, speaking of market price, and this is going to be the last thing that we'll talk about tonight. Since you're here, I have to ask you, the Tranquility Trading Tower has recently come into some competition, and we've seen twice now everybody is going up to like kill whatever is there. Today it was what, an Asbel?
It's always
And
an Asbel, yeah.
and it was another Asbel like like last week or something like that. How how does that work? Like I know how it works, but um I maybe you can explain it to the people in chat who are like, "Oh, how do you goons and everybody work together and then just go and fight?" Like, blue donut.
We'd all rather have that money than somebody like Darkseid, honestly. If the choice is to work together and have some money, or not work together and give Darkseid money, I think we'll work together and make sure that money's there for us, and then we'll use it to throw at each other.
And
It's
then
not rocket science, really. Like the TTT deal is meant to exist outside of alliance warfare for a reason. because if the alliances that are involved in it can't put aside their differences, then the deal doesn't work effectively.
And then at what point do you think goons would actually get cut out of that deal? Like, is there a time limit on it? Are they effectively a part of it, like, for a certain period of time, regardless of their strength?
I do not
Or
see
is
any foreseeable future in which goons are removed. That's not to say it couldn't happen any more than, I could be removed, or Horde can be removed, or goons could be removed. But, as long as the goons are a force for the, like, as much as the TTT deal is a strategic agreement, it's also to a degree a situation where you have this ISK fountain, right? That's effectively what the is. As long as it's properly managed, it'll generate anywhere from 500 to 1.8 trill. 500 bill to 1.8, somewhere in that zone is where it's kind of went. And you have a choice, right? So you can be the one who owns that and then fight for it and have it go down, right? So if Test owned 100% and we tried to hold it without anybody's help, then we would have competitors coming out right, left, and center. We would be fighting over it with each other, and within no time at all, the market would shrink to very little money for anybody, because the people you're really appealing to with the TTT is the casual investor who just wants security for his stuff. When he puts his skill injectors on the market, he wants to ensure that he doesn't come back to reinforced structure and then have to worry about moving them around or any of that hassle, right? He wants the reliability, the stability, and the security. So if you have that stability, then you can do it, but you've got to share it, right? You've got to spread the wealth. So we spread the wealth between the three main players, but there's also a ton of small and medium-sized players that don't draw any flack for being part of the Blue Donut, who are also getting paid, right? And that's to ensure its security as much as it's also to I hate to say spread the wealth, but to make sure that the TTT is kind of supporting everybody as much as I can have it do so. And regardless of what happens in the war, I find it highly unlikely that goons will be weakened to a point where they would even probably become like a medium level entity, in all honesty. So it just doesn't strike me as a reality that there's any real world where goons are removed from the TTT.
so on the same token, there's no, like, so they're not gonna ever be taken down to the point where they're not like a threat?
I mean, when you talk about taking down, like, anything could happen in the war, right? There's never a situation where I'm going to say yes, no, maybe so, like, on what's going to happen. It's entirely possible Test loses this war and we're the ones getting kicked out of the TTT, right? Like, anything can happen in this world, and in this war, uh, I don't know. Like, I truly don't. My assumption is that we're going to be able to win, and we're going to reduce the size and strength of goons to a much more manageable level for an alliance of Test or anyone's size. But maybe we don't, and it doesn't really matter, because once again, the TTT is meant to be an agreement that effectively works outside of Eve's, kind of meta game.
Sure, but at its core, the TTT, like, people getting cut into the TTT, for instance, beforehand, PanFam wasn't getting a cut of the TTT profits, and then we decided to say hello to you in HiSec, and then I shouldn't say we, because I wasn't a part of that. I was on the other side. But they decided to say hello in HiSec, and then cause enough trouble to where they got cut into the deal. Is that accurate?
But that's the point at which we started doing that, right? Because at first I was just trying to be a greedy boy and keep it all for us, right?
Of course.
But I pretty quickly realized it, because originally the TTT wasn't even making that much money because there wasn't very much stability. But once you kind of get to that point where people started putting their barters for minerals up and moon goo and components and all that other stuff, and you get a bustling ship and market and module trade, not equal to JITA, mind you, but like significant enough to matter. Um, you have a responsibility at this point too now to protect their best interests. And for the interest of the vast majority of people that utilize the towers, their best interest is for a healthy towers that is safe and secure and protected by diplomatic agreements. I know it's not what a lot of, like, the small people in New England want to hear. They say abolish the TTT, down with the TTT. But the reality is, even if the TTT was gone, all that would happen is you would have a variety of Fortizars up in perimeter that would be fighting over each other constantly, and everybody paying an extra 4 or 5% tax in JITA consistently, right? And that means higher prices for everybody. It means that your hour of ratting goes less far in terms of the ships you get to buy. The TTE affects the entire EVE economy, and it's important to understand that the safety and stability and security that we provide actually has a positive effect for literally the entire game. So it's a unique position to be in for sure.
This is why you keep mercs on retainer in high sec.
Yeah, we pay a ton of people, and as much as people think we're raking in the dough, the TTA doesn't make that much money.
How much does it make?
I told you earlier, between 500 and 1.8.
Oh.
To a small-minded person like Rich, that would be a lot of ISK.
Yeah,
No.
When you start
What? No.
When you start splitting it, 3 ways, and then you're taking, let's say 2, 3, 400 bill off the top for other people paying. Like it's just 3, 400 bill for an alliance the size of Goons, Test, PanFam, etc. That's just a rental region or two. Like we used to make at one point like 400 bill from Faith Ablis renting. Like so we're making more renting Faith at one point, in like 2018 I think or something than we were from the TCT. It's just one of those things where um, it's good money. Don't get me wrong, and it's sometimes lower effort, but it's not zero effort, and it's not. It's not without its own problems.
I don't see it's a big amount of money, but yeah, I don't see it as unfair amounts. To get this amount, to get here, you needed to go through a lot of trouble. You needed to take down the previous structures, and they had sent waves after waves of mercenaries. You had to find agreements. I don't think there's no way one single person can just hold these, a tower and perimeter like that.
No, absolutely not.
Since
And I
the
mean,
changes, mercenary market actually fell. So you could literally hold the mercenary market with just a few alliances that were still there and take over whatever the hell you wanted in perimeter.
I'd say once the TTT profits get split between the dividends between the maintenance and mercenaries and the 3 groups, yeah, I honestly don't think it's that much. It will cover obviously the alliance's average monthly SRP bills and a little bit more, but I
no, I
didn't
want
think it would.
like there's many months like it. The problem is most people don't have an actual concept of just how much a large block level alliance spends on a monthly basis on things like. Do you have a rough idea just how much we spend on like SOV infrastructure per month, like in fuel blocks?
SOV infrastructure and fuel blocks. I'm afraid I've never held SOV and I've never really dealt with fuel blocks in my corp so far, so I wouldn't know. I'm afraid, but to my knowledge, the SRP bill can easily go over 400 billion, which is probably a lot more than some of the months splits from the Tranquility Trading Tower.
Correct, but even just your infrastructure bills, just to run your iHubs in a month could run you 100, 200, 300 bill based on what your solve size is, and that's not to talk about your fuel bill for like keeping all your keep stars online, keeping all your Fortizars, Asbels, Athenors, all that online. That's not to cover.
Core is being added, right?
Yeah, don't even get me started on trillion Eskin cores, but like you know the the income from the TTT is good for the alliances that are involved in it, but it's by no means a ungodly fountain that is the sole source of ISK in this game kind of thing. It's just one thing among uh, uh, a diversified revenue strategy for most groups.
I'd say the reason why it's so vilified, God damn it, the reason why the TTT is so vilified is people want a share of it, obviously, and people don't like how it prints money. But even though it prints a lot, makes a lot of money, and these are huge numbers, I don't think. Well, it's not the case for me because I accept that it takes a lot to maintain, and you're working with huge numbers here. But also, the cost of maintaining it and the cost of maintaining an alliance capable of holding a share of this and all of that, the you're working with huge numbers, and these numbers are very obfuscated. They're not public, and I wouldn't want ask to make them public, but they're not public for a very special reason. It's it's in the interest of the alliance security. They keep these things secret, but because of this fact, some people don't like it because they only see one side of it. They only see the speculation on how much money it produces, but they never see how much money it costs to maintain.
Correct.
Are you asking for a graph? Is that what you're asking for?
No, I don't need a
No
graph.
fucking graphs.
No, I don't want graph, and I don't want the graphs. I'm fine as it is. I'm fine with my speculating and brainstorming
I'm
of
sure he
how
can
much
find
it
a
is.
bot to make you a graph.
Oh please! I'll use the small gang intelligence network. I'll have it uncovered in a week.